and welcome back to Football Made Simple. As the new season begins, we're back with a tactical analysis focusing on Lampard's new look side. After multiple new signings, there has been much buzz about how Chelsea could look to play. They visited Brighton to begin the season, and in the end, the match ended 3-1 to Chelsea thanks to goals by Jorginho, Zouma and James, whilst Trossard netted for Brighton. The open play expected goals indicated that Brighton actually created the higher quality chances. But what tactics did Lampard use? In this video we take a look. A quick reminder of the formations used by both sides, as seen on the OneFootball app. OneFootball will get you match updates, formation updates, as well as player and team stats, and so much more. And the best part is, you can get it absolutely free through the sponsored link in the description below. Let's start by looking at what they did when they were on the ball. From the goal kicks, when Chelsea considered playing out short with their centre-backs dropping into the box and the full-backs pushing on, Brighton pressed fairly high with their two forwards ready to push on and the wing-backs ready to press the Chelsea full-backs. Chelsea often didn't take any risks in deep areas and would often go long immediately. And in fact, Kepa attempted more long balls than Ryan. And in open play situations, they faced similar problems, as Potter's men were effective in the press. More effective, in fact, than Chelsea, with a lower passes per defensive action. And the key to this was the fact that they looked to cut off any routes into Jorginho, who is usually Chelsea's metronome, spreading passes all over the pitch. They would often push high with their forwards, whilst allowing Bissouma to move out of line to pressure him, keeping Jorginho in this triangle and making him a risky pass. As a result, he didn't have much time on the ball. So, early on, the outballs were to Reece James and Alonso in the wide regions, which is why the fullbacks had more touches than Jorginho. But at the same time, early on, Lamptey and March would push high to apply the pressure, and this would again force Chelsea long, with the fullbacks attempting 12 long balls between them. However, as Chelsea don't have their usual target man in a Giroud or Abraham, and played the diminutive Werner up front, it meant that Loftus-Cheek often had to advance from central midfield to an almost second striker role, trying to win the long ball and flick it on to Werner. But of course, this meant that they were often a man down in the midfield, which is why Bissouma could afford to push high, as they still had the advantage in the central area. As a result, Chelsea couldn't play through the centre of the pitch very often. Chelsea made some minor adjustments as the game went on. Before, Werner stayed fairly central for the flick-on, meaning that Lamptey could push onto Alonso as the spare centre-back could come across to cover Mount. However, he soon began to pick up this inside left position, making this a much more risky proposition, so Lamptey would stay deeper, giving Alonso more time on the ball. If the Brighton midfielders went to cover instead, this would now give Jorginho more space to get onto the ball. It should be noted that Chelsea did have a lot of success with this longer ball, as Brighton pressed with a high line and Werner got on the end of a few good passes. But higher up the pitch, a lot of their chance creation came on the right hand side. This was particularly effective when Chelsea were able to switch the ball quickly into the wide regions, as Brighton were underloaded here. Zouma often initiated this, looking to find the fullbacks. Havertz would then often move into the right half space, dragging the wing-back central, and then thread the ball to James for the cross, and he attempted a team-high 9 crosses as a result. James in the second half was also flexible, and often inverted into midfield to make up for their midfielder pushing high and to give them extra numbers in this central area, and it is from these central regions that he scored his goal. But what did Chelsea look to do defensively? Early on in the game, Chelsea were looking to press high with the front three on the back three of Brighton. However, this narrow shape meant that the Brighton fullbacks were consistently free, and as a result, they made inroads down the flanks, particularly through Lamptey when he got 1 versus 1 against Alonso. But Lampard soon adapted to this by adopting a 4-4-2 shape when defending, with Loftus-Cheek pushing high, which would allow Mount to stay deeper and wider to prevent Alonso being 1 versus 1, which they had some success with. However, on Chelsea's right-hand side, Havertz could often be drawn out of position when he pressed, giving March acres of space to operate in, and he became a big attacking threat, attempting the most crosses for Brighton as well as completing the most dribbles. So this defensive awareness may be something that Havertz looks to work on going forwards. It should also be noted in central regions, when Loftus-Cheek pushed high to press, Jorginho and Kante often pushed high as well to back up the press. And this is actually how their penalty comes about. Overall, it was not the most convincing Chelsea display, but I'd love to know, what did you make of their performance? What could Lampard have done differently, and do you think he'll stick with these tactics going forward? How will things change when the rest of the new signings come in? And as always, not every tactic was covered, so start a discussion down below with what else you noticed. And a special thanks to my Patreons, whose support allows me to cover more niche teams. If you want to support and get early access to videos and exclusive videos, check out patreon.com/footballmadesimple. And a special thanks to Eduardo Carlsberg, Stan, Rotimi Ayorinde, Benko, Alistair, Alvin Allen, Patrick Capelli, Karen Meta, and Devious Z.